The wealth inequality in America has never been higher. And in fact, the gap between the richest and the poorest is a higher gap than it was during the French Revolution. But how exactly does that happen? How do people obtain billions and billions of dollars? Let me show you. Okay, so to show the root of wealth inequality in society today, I'm only going to need three things. I'm going to need a piece of paper, a writing utensil, so we'll call this a pen, and then I'm going to just need myself, okay? So when you have a business, you're going to need two major things. The first thing that you need is capital. And what is capital? Capital is the resources that you need to make your product or to provide your service, okay? So for this particular business, this theoretical business, the materials that I need or the capital that I need is a piece of paper and a pen. And so we're going to have the paper is going to represent a factory, and we're going to say that the pen represents the machines or the tools, right, to make my product, okay? And both of these things are a form of capital. And more specifically, because I need these things to make my product, that is what something called the means of production is, because I need these things to, again, produce my product. Now, these things on their own aren't going to do anything. I need one more ingredient to be able to make my product or provide my service. I need labor. I need somebody to take these materials and tools and use them to create my product, okay? And I'm going to represent my product as a dollar sign, or in my labor to make the product as me creating a dollar sign, okay? And each dollar sign that I make, we're going to say is $1 in profit. So we're already including the cost of the materials to make the goods and the cost of everything else. And this is $1 of profit that I make. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and see how many dollar signs I can create in 1 minute. Okay, so it has been a full minute, and in that minute, I have created, if I counted correctly, $70 in that 1 minute. So the profit for the company that I have generated is $70 per minute. Okay, so this is where wealth inequality comes from. So under capitalism, you have a private owner of the means of production, so the pen and the paper. So me as a worker in this scenario, I couldn't afford my own piece of paper, my own factory or tools and machines, okay? I could only do the job. So I don't own this factory and I don't own the pen, okay? So the person who does own these things gets to keep my profit, all right, of $70 per minute. And what they'll do is they will give me a wage back to me. So they'll collect the money that I have created, and then they will give me a wage that is less than the profit that I have made for them, which in this case, let's say that they go ahead and they're like, oh, you made me $70 per minute. You know, I'm going to give you a wage of, we'll make it, $20 per minute. Okay, which means that the person who owns the pen and the paper or the means of production is going to pocket $50 per minute for themselves when they didn't have to spend a minute making it. All they did was own the piece of paper and the pencil. And ownership does not take time. What was making the profit was my labor. Okay. And I can already hear in the comments that people are saying, well, if you don't like that deal, just go ahead and go somewhere else. Well, here's the thing. Under society today, most people need a job, right? And most of those jobs, can you work for yourself? Sure, but 8 billion people can't all work for themselves. Most people are going to have to find a job that requires a significant amount of capital and very complex machines and factories, right? They have to go find someone who owns those things. And then what will happen is if they don't like it, then they have to risk homelessness. So they will, if it's the choices between being underpaid for their value of their labor or going homeless or starving, they will go ahead and take the job that is underpaying them. Okay. And then so what happens is, what is the capitalist or the person who owns the means? What are they going to do with this money that they didn't have to labor for? They're going to go ahead and use that money to buy a new factory, buy some more capital, have some more tools and machines so they can hire more workers and extract the value of their labor. And now they're not making $50. If they hire another one, they're making $100 per minute, right? And every worker that they hire, the more money they're going to make. And the important thing here is that they're making more money without having to spend time to do so. So that is how that wealth inequality is built. Because they own the means of production, they are going to exploit laborers for the value of the work that they do. And that is where wealth inequality comes from. And I'll just end with, all socialism means is that you no longer have private owners of these very complex machines and paper. Because when you think about it too, who built this factory? Who built this pen, right? Maybe sure the original owner of this particular set here, maybe they were a worker and managed to buy their own factory or whatever, right? But how did they get the money to purchase this factory? They got the money from the workers. So people will make the argument that like, oh, it's theirs, they earned it. Well, maybe they earned the original one, but all the stuff they earned after, they didn't earn it, they just took it from workers. And then so all socialism means is that you don't have private owners. The workers own these things collectively so that they can keep the value of their own labor that they use or that they produce per minute.